Morning, everybody. What's going on? KSA Kris here, the Real Estate Blitz. I was driving into work today, and I don't know if you do this, but I was sitting down talking to myself, like having self-talk. And I kind of do it every day. I look through, what do I got to do today? What's going on? What's important to me? What do I need to accomplish? Where am I at this month? All of it. It's self-talk. It's just really trying to, get myself ready for the day. And today I started thinking about, I'm trying to push, and I'm very competitive. I just am. I'm a competitive person. So this month, right now, officially picked up 10 listings. And, I was feeling pretty good about it. And I had posted up something, or I didn't post up something. Somebody had posted up a question in one of the Facebook groups last night. And I put on there, I picked up 10 listings this month, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 in escrow, right? So out of the 10, 6 of them are in escrow already this month. And I was feeling pretty good. My goal this month, starting off, was I was going to do 5 listings. I've done 10. I think I'm going to get one more before the month is out, because today's 30th. I think I'll pick up this other one today. And I was feeling pretty good. I was feeling pretty good about it. And then somebody said they did 11. And I'm like, okay. So I'm just competitive. And then I started thinking to myself about in the Marine Corps, there's this thing called the PFT, right? So the PFT is your physical fitness test. And the physical fitness test is basically something that everybody has to do. So there's a run, there's sit-ups, and then or crunches, and then there's pull-ups, and it kind of just gives you an overall feel of how somebody's physically how they're put together. So in order to get a top of the line, you can't beat it out. You're doing an 18-minute 3-mile, 20 pull-ups, and 100 crunches, right? And it's within a certain time period. You have a time period for each one. And I started thinking, I says, I remember when I was in the Marine Corps, doing 20 pull-ups. Not in the beginning. It's funny because I didn't figure that out until a little bit later in my career. In the beginning, I couldn't do 20 pull-ups, but later in my career, I got to doing 20 pull-ups. I'll talk about that. I always did 100 crunches. It was just natural. And it used to blow my mind when people couldn't. And then I ran around a 19 to a 20-minute 3-mile in the beginning. And then as I got older, it was about a 22-minute 3-mile. So this is what I started thinking about. With the run specifically, some people are just gazelles. You know what I mean? Like they wake up, they take off running, and they're just like the wind. They're like a rocket launching off into space. And it's just something that they do. It's a natural thing. But for a majority of people, if you really wanted to get, 100 on the PFT, it was work. You had to, and this is what I learned with pull-ups. Best way for me to get to 20 pull-ups was I just had to do more pull-ups. So it had to become part of my routine where I went outside every break and I was doing pull-ups, and I would do, 100, 200, 300, probably not 300, but I did a lot every day. Probably in each sitting, I'd go out there, I'd knock out 10 to 15, sometimes 20, and I would do at least 100 or more every day. But I didn't have interest to do that with the running portion. I had no interest. I ran 3 days a week, but for the people that got 18-minute 3 miles, they were running every day. That was like their thing. For the people that were getting 100%, they were in the gym. They were doing pull-ups. They were doing crunches. They were doing the run. They were like physically working to obtain this perfect score. And I think that's when it hit me kind of this morning. I says, what's my pace? And this is what I learned. When you go on a long run, I don't know if you're into running, whether it's 3 miles or 13 miles, or if you're going to go out and do a full marathon. I think, it comes down to what's your pace? Yes, you're competing and you're running with other people, which in this business, yes, we're competing and running with other people, right? But at the end of the day, you are your own competition. You are in your own body, even though there's all these other people and you're competing against them. You have to run your run. You have to meet your pace. You have to stick to your game plan, right? And I think that's where I was debating last night. I'm like, man, I should ramp it up, and I should do this, and I should do that, but I got a plan. I'm running my run right now. I have my pace. Um, and if I keep my pace, what I'm going to accomplish is something pretty great for me and my family. I may not be the best in the area. I may not be the best in my markets, but I'll be pretty damn good. See what I mean? So I think sometimes when we listen to gurus, because I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably listen to gurus too. I think sometimes when we listen to gurus and all this other stuff, like, and I have people call me because I'll watch Real Estate Blitz and they ask me all these questions. It seems like everybody wants to implement everything that they hear. And that's just not the way to do it. You got to create your game plan. You have to look at, okay, well, how much energy am I going to put into becoming better at my pace, right? Even though I'm competing with people, what do I have to do to become better at what I'm doing to speed myself up? And how much energy am I willing to put into it? You don't, everybody doesn't need to do 10 to 15 deals per month. I personally want to, but you know what? I know people that are doing 40 to 50 deals per month. And I don't really have a strong desire right now to do that. I have a desire to have that by the end of the year, but I'm building up to that. I think where people go wrong is they're like, well, I want that, and this is what I have to do to get it done. So they just start doing everything and they start doing a bunch of stuff instead of systematically implementing channels. And that's where they really got it. That's where they get hung up. That's where they end up really burning themselves out. So you hit the halfway point, you turn around, you got to run back home, and you're already tired because the first mile and a half, the first 2 miles, you were just trying to cook. You were outside of your pace. And, at the end of the day, when you burn yourself out because you're trying too much or you're doing too much, if you burn yourself out, you actually end up running slower than if you would have just stuck to your pace or prepared better in order for you to compete. So that's all I got today. I thought it was insightful for me. I don't know if it'll help somebody else, but it's something that kind of set right for me. And if it makes sense for you, I hope it helps. That's all I got. Do me a favor, check me out on Facebook, check me out on YouTube, right? The Real Estate Blitz, and go check me out on Instagram. It's KSA Kris, Chris with a K, and keep watching. All right, talk to you all later. Have a good one. Bye.